they got drilled. Right? They got Drone Ranger visaged.
Yes.
It's hard to deal with that. I mean, the Phantom Assassin, in retrospect, going up against the Puck probably wasn't a great idea because the Aghanim Scepter, but they didn't have many options, right? Yep. Like maybe they go for the Slark, but that's also not a great team fighter. You go too early in team fight, you don't have the late game necessary to beat out a Dro. You know, there's so many big issues to come down to that draft. I don't think they'll allow that to happen a second time, and boy, did NiP strike back immediately to that Earthshaker pick.
Yeah, so PPD values the Earthshaker a little bit higher. But when you give it like a Dazzle and an Axe combo, Ninjas in Pajamas just work their way into the groove. It's not the biggest groove they're searching for, which would have been something like a Wistani plus the Dazzle Axe plus one on top of that, which would normally be someone like a Lina, who I will also say was bypassed here by NiP because they wanted the combination instead of just having the Lina. But this is a position right now where NiP should be feeling very, very comfortable. Their laning phase is going to be very strong, and EG have to have an answer to this. If they don't, this could steamroll again in favor of NiP.
Ninjas in Pajamas are probably looking to do the same thing that they did against EG in the round robin stage. Run the two heroes down in the off lane, put pressure on EG, especially since the Earthshaker, like last time they ran, what was it, the Earthshaker and I think Skywrath Mage might have been their duo, or it might have been Vengeful Spirit and Skywrath Mage. Either way, there wasn't a whole lot of capability for them to contest the Dazzle Axe. Now, I think Earthshaker was very poor at that because basically he wants to set up a block in order for you to allow you to get the pickoff, right? Yep. But that can't happen. You can't go into that axe and just assume the Fisher block is going to be enough to kill him, right? It's a minimal amount of damage, and then he sits there, but he's spinning on you. You've got a Dazzle behind him, healing him up. It's not an ideal support versus this. So I think the immediate response of the Dazzle Axe is solely because they knew it's going to be strong versus the Earthshaker. Yep. And I don't think the Evil Geniuses, whatever support they go for, is going to be good enough, essentially. So as long as they make sure they deal, and I love the Skywrath Mage ban out, I think that EG are then in turn going to rotate their supports pretty heavily, and I think that Earthshaker Skywrath Mage is a very dangerous duo against any mid lane.
I still want to ask the question, where is the Enigma pickup? Instead of contesting up against these lanes, which you feel like could be pretty passive anyway, get a hero which can half run their... I know we've been seeing things like SK, which run as your initiator as well as your farming role, but to have something like that, very, very quick farming, and then come into the lane to add a bigger presence than you'll get from like SK early on. Is that the way you can force them out? You got a Quap, you got an Earthshaker, your team fight's already looking pretty good. The banouts being the Vengeful Spirit as well as the Disruptor, which is just going to mean NiP are now going to ban potentially Storm. I know the Queen of Pain's already been picked up, but it's they actually go for the Sniper pickup and they ban the Clockwork instead.
I mean, Evil Geniuses lineup would look a bit funky if they had both the Queen of Pain and the Storm Spirit on their side.
Yeah, I know.
I agree. Like, I was expecting kind of a Storm ban out too, just because it was like, oh, the Disruptor's banned. How do we not ban away the Storm? But I think it's the right decision here. The Disruptor is really good versus the Queen of Pain as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean they're looking for a Storm pickup. It's a good controlling hero against any intelligence mid. Queen of Pain falls in the same line as the Storm Spirit. Yep. So I think it's just a strong ban there. Sniper, though, third pickup for Ninjas in Pajamas. Lane Dominator does well versus the Queen of Pain. I would say it's like a 60-40. I'm not the most specialized mid matchup hero in the world, but Sniper does have an advantage here. Queen of Pain can win it, right? But more than likely, it's not going to be about the 1v1. The lane is going to be determined by the support rotations, which are to the favor of EG with the Earthshaker.
Yeah, I was about to say, because NiP, when you run the dual lanes, this is the downside about it. And this is also something, too, I know Era was talking about last night after the games, where he was basically saying like they knew where EG's weakness was going to be, primarily because you'd look and say, well, okay, if we have dual lanes, then you have to rotate 3 heroes in to deal with our dual lane if you want to be able to get on top of that dual lane, which means the mid lane gets completely opened up. You can't be running like a Witch Doctor and a Queen of Pain in the same lane to try and force out the Sniper when you have to have Witch Doctor down the bottom lane to push back the Axe and the Dazzle, or at least give space so Sophia can farm up. So when you're doing that, then Ninjas in Pajamas have more space to just pull back in their lane when the rotation does come, be a little bit more defensive. to push back out when you realize, okay, well, they have rotated up or they've moved to a different lane. You come back and you start your farm again.
So, okay, so I was just about to say that Evil Geniuses should be looking at... I felt like they were going to go for a hard carry. Faceless Void is kind of the hero that you're expecting and needed some sort of jumping hero to go into the sniper for sure. The Faceless Void is a decent hard carry. And on top of that, just the Witch Doctor kind of puzzled me, right? Because I felt like it wasn't terribly effective versus NiP's decisions.
So you're looking for the combo hero to go with it.
Right. It's not necessarily all about that. But it's also about the fact that there's a heavy amount of armor on Dazzle Axe. It also means your laning phase isn't going to be that superb. They're very defensive supports, naturally. Earthshaker and Witch Doctor are very hard heroes to push high ground against. So I felt like Evil Geniuses were then planning on going for a harder carry. But you're right. It also plays really well with the Faceless Void. The Chronosphere into the Witch Doctor ultimate is going to be devastating. The laning phase still is a bit dangerous, though, because these heroes can't necessarily rotate. I thought Evil Geniuses would get another strong rotating hero for their 5 position, but Witch Doctor is not great. Unless you happen to get the cast bounce to hit the hero, bounce back, and hit the hero again, it's not that great rotation. Or a very great mid game.
We should still flag the fact that this may not be a Fear Void, because you do have one of the greatest. You have one of the greatest Faceless Voids players in EG, and it's the Hands of Universe. So running an off-lane Faceless Void, normally NiP do run eras at Sniper on the safe lane. So Void against the Sniper is not really fantastic, but he can survive, he can escape, body block it up, try and stay in close, man fight the Lion of the Dazzle, or at least the like. It's only going to be the line up against the Void. Stout Shield and a couple of consumables, you'll be fine with backtrack. So it's more of just get that level 6 and then become an impact hero. But if you're going to do that, then your timing with the Witch Doctor and the Faceless Void, so even then that should be fine. All you need to do is get your ultimate and then make sure the hero that Fear would play will be able to dish out enough damage. And yeah, that's the reason why they're banning out the Drone Ranger right now. It would have been the buff up to the Queen of Pain, and someone can inflict a large amount of damage into the Chronosphere. So they assume it is a Faceless Void for Universe.
Now, Ninjas in Pajamas, how are they going to respond? Are they actually going to go and try and contest EG late game? Or are they going to go for more of a mid-game force? Sniper is already kind of their one position for now, and I don't anticipate them to change that. What would be a very good mid-game oriented... mid-game team fight hero for the Zeus? They're just looking to win fights, and the Sniper will also give you a little bit of pushing power as well. And EG now have the decision to make if they want to go hard late game. And this pickup for Sumail Storm Spirit, it surprised MVP Phoenix, right? And it ended up winning the game quite heavily. Ninjas in Pajamas, are they going to pay for their hubris of assuming the Storm Spirit was not going to be picked up?
I'm going to ask you a question right now. What happened if Lion is dead? What happens to NiP if Lion is dead?
Well,
because
there is very little control over the Storm Spirit, right?
That's it.
Yep.
We saw Sumail up against MVP when they didn't have any form of control to go up against him, and he just stomped them. Now, the only two things that NiP have is Axe Call, which is nowhere near reliable, and Sumail is better than that to be caught by it, unless his Axe is initiating him with the Blink Dagger. And your other thing is the Lion Hex is going to be the one and probably only thing he could use. Getting the Earth Spike on a moving Storm Spirit is very, very difficult. That's it. Once those are burned out, there's nothing more to have. And even if you do get this combination off, a Faceless Void with a leaping in Chronosphere, it's going to hurt you even harder. So your problem is for NiP now with that last pickup, that you've got the distance closer on Sniper. That's what you always look for. You look for the Clockwork, or you look for the Storm Spirit. And Faceless Void also can close the distance very quickly, so can Queen of Pain. I'm actually really worried for NiP with this last pickup. EG has shown their dynamicness in their lanes.
No, I believe that Evil Geniuses did outdraft Ninjas in Pajamas, but it's not to say that NiP can't win this game solely through the fact of just being able to, they got to look to dominate the laning phase, right? That's all about the Axe Dazzle in the bottom lane. They cannot afford to give away kills. They have to do well. If they actually pick up a kill, I'll be very surprised, but it'll be a huge buffer for their laning phase. And Limp, well, he's going to look to try and dominate mid up against Sumail, but Sumail is one of the best Storm Spirits in the business. His mid-storm is unrivaled, really.
The only weird thing is for Sumail, you're going up against a Zeus, but he's not running the way that Limp ran the last game. By picking up something like the stick, you could be running both stick as well as bottle here. He instead brings out 4 more sets of tangos.
A little bit more. It's because I think the choice of running a really early magic stick is one that is very specific for the puck.
Okay.
I don't think you can do necessarily the same thing for the Storm Spirit because he's got to make sure that he's able to get early CS, and then Null Talisman ensures that.
Oh, bottom lane, they're coming in for the initiation. Paralyzing cast, gonna bounce, it's come back to Axe, it does.
Nice
the visual
block.
will be there, and this will be Eunice. He should go down around the corner, they turn back in, and PPD is the man to get the first kill. This is big because it means boots for the Earthshaker.
Almost got the deny out there. Seal Kid was really trying for it. Limp is being forced back by Samael. Now, he's not going to miss any CS out of this, most likely. Arc Lightning is still long enough range, but Samael is kind of establishing his place, and if he's probably planning to push this next wave into the tower, because he's looking to be able to control the runes as best as possible. If they can deny Limp the 2-minute rune, this will really set him behind.
Aoi and Fear are really doing a lot of work in harassing, which is it's not something you think it's going to be very effective when you go up against Dazzle, but that Shadow Wave heal, Universe, stop killing Lion, well, unless you really want to. Era and Hanskin, they were pushing their way in. There was one creep that could take the aggro off them. Universe being really getting up in the face of these of that Lion. Because he's got the ward, he knows exactly what he's up against. But yeah, on this bottom lane, that level 1 heal's not doing that much, and it's just... Okay.
You sneaky bugger. I think he put it a bit too early, so he's not going to be able to get the rune away from Jonas.
Yep. But Aoi 2000's doing a really great job of always getting up, attacking into the Axe, attacking into the Dazzle, trying to force them to burn their consumables, or at least force the Dazzle to keep doing this. 80 mana for each heal. Pop the Cloudies, he's only down to 1.
Yeah, the Queen of Pain is kind of one of those perfect laners to go up against a Dazzle Axe, because you've got a very high range, so you don't care about the spin coming out from the Axe. You also have that extra bit of harassment damage, so the relatively high armor on an Axe, because he likes to be able to go for both Stout Shield as well as Ring of Protection. He's much more susceptible to magic harassment than anything else, so Shadow Strike is perfect for dealing with dishing out that harassment against this dual lane. And it really showed itself. They weakened up the Axe so much that when the Fissure block went down, it wasn't a question. They easily got that first blood. The only question was whether or not the deny would come out.
Universe has been in so many positions where he potentially could try and jump with the line. He doesn't want to use Time Walk because that means he doesn't have an escape mechanism when the Shrapnel charges come in. But Hanskin, there's your Hex, there's your first Shrapnel, backtracks on one of the attacks, 2 of the attacks, still got that poor man's shield, and looks to try and fight this one. And, well, there's your Time Walk away. They expend a little bit of mana for that, not a lot of life. But at the same time, PPD's arriving on the top, and he's waiting. In fact, I feel like Universe is doing this on purpose. So he drops NiP down, and then NiP has enough confidence to try and go again. Because Universe has been aggressive for 3 minutes and 28 seconds of this game. He has been up in their faces, waiting for them to come in. So when Era gets hit by a Fissure, he time walks up. It would only need 1 time lock to ensure the kill. But if you get the Fissure over on the Lion, that'll work even harder. But what's the vision for the Dire side? All right, so it cuts off here. PPD can't walk past that line.
Yeah, but Ninjas of Pajamas there, they didn't really control the creep equilibrium so well, so it's going to push into the tower. And that was kind of an opening for PPD, but he decides it's more important again.
It's a Rune Runner.
They do it twice in a row.
The fish is there from PPD. Does he go for Limp? And he actually locks out the Lion. So then Storm Spirit, well, you don't have that point up in the Vortex, so Limp just keeps running himself away from this one. The damage is nice, and is he going to commit, Samael? He's coming up, and hell yeah, he is. Aui's got a haste rune. He's on the way in too. Act might try and buy some space. It's the Battle Hunger, but there's your Fissure. With the Paralyzing Cast, but there's your Shallow Grave. There's no damage. They can't get close enough. Storm Spirit, though, does pick up the line. The Axe is still here. One more Remnant in the attack in. He goes for the jump to South. It's not enough. It's a double kill for Samael. Such great control of the mana. He knew just how much to do. And there's 3 heroes down for NiP.
Beautiful setup there from Evil Geniuses. Reading the haste rune. EG, again, controlling the runes against the Zeus is so vitally important, and this is why Samael is winning this middle lane so hard. He got the 2-minute rune, which is a double damage, and then the 4-minute rune was a haste at bottom, which AUI grabbed to ensure both of those kills. Absolutely insane. EG, strategically speaking, they have NiP's number.
Yeah, they really, really do. But there is one number which hasn't been punched yet, and that's Era. He's still farming up on this top lane. He's got 27 for 11, so his CS isn't that bad. But is it really worth it with the amount of farm he's got compared to... Okay, wow, Eunice, Fear, he's got this. He's actually got this. One more... He could potentially blink in. The call will give him enough armor he could survive it. I thought Fear would go for the blink screen when the screen came off cooldown, but
it's a bit
not
risky.
going to happen.
I think it's a bit risky. He may not have known where Seal Kid was, right? And that small bit, like he blinks in, the Axe is able to get the call, and then maybe there's a Dazzle there to heal him up, and the Axe is able to, basically take you out underneath that tier 1 tower. It's an unnecessary risk, right? They're sitting 4-0 right now, 6 minutes in.
Hanskin, not where you want to be. That fissure, PPD's got it. He's got to throw it out, but at the same time, Universe, she time walks himself away, so they can't try and counter-initiate into NiP's attempt. But they are already ahead now, so why do it?
Exactly.
If there's going to be a fight on top lane, then Fear can TP in and throw out Sonic Wave, and they have a lot more confidence to get that.
Limp, he hasn't gotten a single rune. It's 6 minutes in, and he has yet to find it. He just went top, and PPD was there 1 second before him. Snagged the bounty rune, and now we have a Storm Spirit with an invisibility.
We also have a Storm Spirit farming up inside the jungle, and again, look where Aoi is getting space. It's going to be in the middle lane as opposed to the safe lane this time around, but they're really, again, prioritizing the farm into this Witch Doctor. And an Aghanim set to upgrade on him. Like, we didn't see a really effective one earlier today, but when you combine it up with a Chronosphere, now that's going to be brutal.
I think Sumail is going to make the rotation here. He just picked up his level 8. If he wants to, he can hold on to... No, he didn't. I thought he would hold on to the skill point, perhaps pop the invisibility rune and go middle. But maybe he determines the disable is not necessary. He can go middle if he wants to and try and catch out the Zeus, but instead he decides it's more important for him to just farm up the hard camp. Again, I guess a risk not worth taking.
I can't believe how far behind Axe is. It's just... This Blink Dagger is going to be so late. So late.
They clearly did not expect, or otherwise they were too committed to it, but they did not expect the Queen of Pain safe lane when they were drafting that up. And that...
Well, how many people would? And this is only really because of, like, we've mentioned it many times in the past. Fear has kind of played every role in Dota. Absolutely every single role. So he can adapt to practically anything. And a safe lane Queen of Pain isn't a stretch of the imagination. TP in from Dazzle. You might want to Shallow Grave yourself right now. Scream and Sonic Wave could potentially kill him. But Queen of Pain just forced the TP in. So the Lion will end up coming down to the bottom lane to help him out. But they're forcing the rotations, and here's Sumail. The big jumps, he's already managed to pick up that Soul Ring, and that's just murder on the dance floor. Limp's gonna drop, and it's 5-0 for Evil Geniuses.
It's actually becoming comical at this point in time. I mean, maybe if you're not a NiP fan, it's not so funny, but the fact that Limp still can't get a rune inside of his bottle because every single time he goes for it,
Chronosphere, the Vision, the Death Ward, Vision isn't even required. Faceless Void will take the kill, and this is the combination that finds kills everywhere. We saw it all throughout TI3. Wait.
I thought he was going to get a block off and perhaps set up Sumail, but maybe Sumail can still get it.
Yeah, on the run, but there's a creep. Maybe he can deny himself. Ooh. Yes, he can. Denied. At the same time, though, he now reveals the fact this camp is here, and if Sumail really wants it, he could probably take it.
Yeah, he doesn't have too much mana, but
he's got Soul Ring.
Yeah, he can maybe wait out the Soul Ring and have Earthshaker help him out, but it's doubtful. Ninjas the Benjamas.
They're coming up to try and take this right now before well, actually, no, they're not. They're more worried about that top tower because Universe is pushing it up pretty heavily. But on bottom lane, the tier 1 tower's also dropped. Fear is looking quite healthy for money. And what's actually on the courier now? It's flying back and forward. So we get Fear with Null Talismans. PPD's got an entire Soul Ring now for this Earthshaker.
You're going to have a Medallion of Courage picked up pretty soon on the Witch Doctor, and that actually allows Evil Geniuses to take Roshan.
Are you actually looking for a medallion here, or would you actually want to get something more like Earn, considering the speed you're getting? Limp! Nukes are there, he's got a lot of them, and that is going to be the death of the Queen of Pain. Hanska did jump in, was a long jump again by Sumail. Shallow Grave will protect the Lion for the moment, but Sumail could just try and turn one attack in a moment, or he could just ball lightning it into that death ward. The paralyzing cast bought enough time, they have the damage. And Ali 2000, the killer of EG. Able to find more.
Sumail is so dirty on the Storm Spirit. It's ridiculous. He knows how to play every situation. Like, Hanskin was trying to, like, bait him out a little bit. He's like, go ahead, try and come into this tower. I'll hit you with the Impale. But he waited out the Shallow Grave perfectly.
TPs are coming into the mid. Now, if Yusum Farm was able to have something like, I don't know, Blink Dagger.
Yeah, top lane.
Nice. Okay, they're killing someone.
Era's dead.
Universe. He doesn't have the ultimate, but it won't really matter. With Queen of Pain here, Era's going to drop, and Queen of Pain's going to get the kill. Sumail was moving over to take that ancient stack, which you got to... I don't know if that was actually taken by the spin of the axe. There's not much left of that stack. 11-1. Who would have really thought this after NiP's performance in Game 2?
Yeah,
I know it was a draw Visage, but still. They've been playing really good Dota. This just is crippling to watch.
Evil Geniuses just have them countered every step of the way. I really felt that EG...
Fishing of bottle charge to Universe right now. If he does, Universe has Chronosphere. Okay, he's got it anyway, but he doesn't have Time Walk to go with it. And he's going to need it. NiP are coming in. TP out. Fear, Blink. He doesn't have a TP scroll. And there's 4 heroes converging on him. So Fear to the trees. Stay in the trees. Shrapnel scouts him out. That's the vision right now, the Dire side. So you see Fear up here. There's no support. He's got Blink in 4 seconds time. And that's too long. So all he can do is just throw one Shadow Strike in the line and Fear will drop his Storm Spirit in the meantime. Over towards Limp. Thunder God's Wrath Survival. He's not going to pop at the Death Ward. Wow, that was short. Instantly cancelled after being cast by Owie. So Limp will be able to survive with Dazzle TPing him very quickly. Sealkit's got his work cut out for him if he's going to be saving members of NiP.
Yeah, PPD is getting farming time, though, on the bottom lane. Like, yes, Fear died. That was a good read by Ninjas of the Pajamas, but Sumail also then forced a TP out from the Dazzle into the middle lane, and this is leaving PPD a lot of room to farm up. He already has his Soul Ring, so he can actually farm up jungle decently effective. It's better when you're like level 8 or 9, you have the higher levels of Aftershock, but it's something. PPD is going to be able to, normally he's playing the hard 5, doesn't get an opportunity to farm that often, but in this game, they will give him space. It's too important for him to get a Blink Dagger.
Oh. Hang on, this is EG's Curry sitting up here. Thought for a moment the Dire going shocking, like where the hell did you get money for a point booster as well as an anti-booster? It all belongs to Sumail.
Sumail looking to pick up that early Bloodstone. No need for the Orchid because the Queen of Pain is going to pick it up, right? So it's unnecessary at this point. It would have been a great pickup, to be sure. It just means that the Zeus and Lion are just free food. But unnecessary. Now, once he has the Bloodstone, he just basically ensures that he'll survive a bit longer, and the chances are he may be able to survive through those hexes and those disables. At the very least, the rest of his team can follow up.
I really want to watch closely onto Unison Farm, because he's now managed to pick up that Blink Dagger of his, and where is the initiation going to come? Like, where is your vision? Dire Observer Ward, one watching up towards the top, one watching the bottom rune area. Beyond that, you don't see much apart from, okay, well, the Courier flying in the Soul Booster for Sumail, so hello, Bloodstone, 13 minutes. Almost.
Yeah, Ninjas and Pajamas are just sent to pretty much play the farming game for now. They have to hit the mid game really hard, though, because Evil Geniuses do have the better late game. Like, Universe will eventually pick up enough farm. He can take over the 1 position. That's not a problem. Sumail late game Storm Spirit is devastating as well, particularly since Ninjas and Pajamas are mainly reliant on the Sniper for all their physical sustained damage. So when you have gap closers like that, the Sniper just doesn't feel like a very strong hero, a very strong carry when you start going late game.
And the gap is so small with Sumail. Once you get that Bloodstone, the pull and regeneration is just through the roof, and he's basically double the net worth of the Zeus and the Sniper. Like, if you combine the Zeus and the Sniper together, you got 400 left over for change for NiP, but that is all. That's not a lot to work with. Like, there's just so much money with him, and somehow he's also managed to get the greatest rune he possibly could have, next to a double damage. But again, a regen would also work. Either way, he gets the rune that's not the bounty, he could find kills. It's that haste rune for him.
Yeah, he even, like, bottle crowed. So he gets a bottle, heals up a bunch of mana, grabs the rune, and thanks to the Soul Ring, even at this low...
Smoke broke. The smoke broke, but he's not in range of this Observer Ward, so they don't see him there. They want to jump over on Owie, but you've still got this Void. He's got to come back up to look for the Chronosphere. Owie alive for the moment, but for how long? There's your Zeus Bolt. Universe, Chronosphere, he just goes for the line, tries to speed him in the tree line. He's just backing back and forward here. And yep, Shadowgrave will keep him alive. Universe, there's your dunk. NiP finding some openings. They do see Hanskin running himself away, and that's why Fear. Sonic Wave will kill him as he spills out to the Dazzle too. PPD with the Fissure, locking in Dazzle. But Storm Spirit doesn't want to go for it. He's actually just running away from the fight. It's already a 3-for-1 trade-off in favor of NiP.
Yeah, that was a very favorable engagement. Ninjas the Pajamas, they took a huge risk making that kind of jump into the middle lane, and it actually paid out big time. First of all, they get the kill on AUI, but then Universe tries to go for the kill.
What was with
on
that pathing
Lion
too? He kept bumping back from the hero.
Radiant's middle tower.
Either way, it all came down to that shallow grave, and then he promptly gets blown up, and then that's a lost fight from there. No matter what the Queen of Pain and Storm Spirit do, unless the Queen of Pain hits like a 5-man Sonic Wave, there's no way to change that engagement. So Sumail and Fear get what they can out of it and back up. A small lost engagement, nothing too major. I don't think it'll really upset the trajectory of this game, which is to the favor of Evil Geniuses, but it's a start for NiP.
Yeah, it might buy them those. Well, they already had the critical items to go for the ganks, which was the Axe, Blink Dagger, and the rest of it really does come down to timing. Maybe when you get a Blink Dagger over on the line, it will mean a little bit more too. Oh, Zeus has a way. A Eul Scepter might be very, very nice. Because Faceless Void isn't building a BKB. In fact, Universe currently isn't really building much of anything apart from Mask of Madness and Treads. So his damage output isn't really the key factor. But you could take him out with something like a Eul Scepter before he gets the BKB. Gives you good mana regeneration and potential saving grace from heroes like Storm Spirit jumping in. Just force him to buy BKBs as opposed to the control items. But yeah, the Witch Doctor or the Faceless Void Chrono combo is always going to be the major problem for NiP. So obviously Sumail as well, but it's the team fight which they just can't win if the combo works right. And the combo wasn't there, because Aoi was the first one they went on.
So what's the timing for Ninjas in Pajamas at this point? I mean, they can't just sit back and farm the whole entire time.
You can't take Roshan against DG either.
You do need a particular set of items first, and I think Era may have to complete him. He's just so far behind. He's sitting on drums, Ring of Aquila, and that's it. Right? He's got 1,000 gold, but he's nowhere close to an SNY. You can't really go BKB. I mean, it's
jump
an
time
option eventually, but it's not going to be good enough against Chronosphere and the Queen of Pain Sonic Wave.
PPD's going to find Limp, and that's going to be the first kill. With the Fissure, they hold him in, and the Orchid also showing up there from Fear. They did bring in support. The Shrapnel and the Weave going to go to work. And EG, there's no reason to fight this.
Yeah, but unless the units manage to get like the big
Why does he keep finding Invis runes? Sumail. And that's a blink away from NiP. They realized something's wrong.
He noticed. He bumped into an invisible unit. He was like, nope, 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 nope.
Well, then again, can he notice a second time as well? He's, yep. He's noticing that one. He pings it out. If he goes for the call,
that's Sumail.
Right, is he going to? No, Sumail jumps in. There will be the call, but in comes Fear. The screen was too far away, and the Orchid timing's also a little bit off. Shallow Grave will be forced to be used, but it was very, very early into the death ward, and Axe TP time, not fast enough. Storm Spirit will take the kill, and even Seal Kid. That's a Scream and Sonic Wave. Wow. Committal is high. I suppose it's two heroes down, and Hanscom, where are you going? PPD, the Echo Slam, he missed the Fissure, but in comes Sumail. That actually cost the life of Fear because of that. But then again, Zeus was throwing the whole kitchen sink at him.
Did you see the life points of Universe there, by the way? He had Agility Treads on, Mask of Madness activated, and it was just the Zeus ultimate and the Assassinate out from the Sniper. He didn't backtrack either one of them, and he almost died from just that damage alone. He lived with about 15 HP. Very lucky for him. They did manage to get the kill on Fear, at least for NiP, but obviously the engagement heavily to the favor of Evil Geniuses as they just continue forward.
Hilarious thing is still, all of these fights are just the pickoffs from EG. We're not looking at the team fight combo, it's just their combinations they get when, the timing was also a little bit wrong for PPD with his Fissure, but this is what you're capable of doing when you're just walking around casting your passive abilities without having to cast your ultimates. I know we did use Chronosphere at one point there, but that kill was probably you could succeed with that one without having to use the Chrono too.
This is probably a smart decision here from Aaron. Looks like he's going to be going for a Maelstrom. I don't think BKB is your item, mainly because Sonic Wave still goes through it, the Chronosphere still catches you out.
He needs counter push
and he needs some farming items. Like, he needs to actually get back into this game net worth-wise. So Maelstrom, I think the right call, but it still leaves you obviously very exposed to the Storm Spirit and everyone else.
NiP was searching for a kill for EG inside the Radiant jungle. They're unable to do so. Some farmers are now going to just creep, skip it out, and allow the tier 1 town to take some damage. But you got Fear pushing at the creep wave on top a little bit faster. And with PPD babysitting him with that Fissure, in fact, they're also going to bring in Sumail. They're gonna play the tower race. So tier 1 versus tier 2 tower. Both teams using fortification. The difference is EG's fortification will come back off cooldown, where when that tier 1 tower drops, but NiP's, it will not.
So 20 minutes in, it's a big lead for Evil Geniuses. Ninjas in Pajamas know they need to stay away from certain fights They can get pickoffs, it'll be great, but for the most part, they just need to continue to farm up. They can hopefully find an opening for Roshan. I think that's one of the best plays they can do, but they do not have a good Rosh-taking team.
That DD rune on top lane is now going to be scouted out as well, and Sumail's on his way down for that. 11 Bloodstone charges wasn't enough to give an advantage. Now they're going to give him bonus damage.
In fact, I'm a bit surprised that Evil Geniuses haven't taken the opportunity to try out Roshan with Faceless Void. I actually thought that AUI was going to go for an early medallion on the Witch Doctor just to exploit the fact that they won the early game and that they would have so much control that Roshan would be a possibility.
Is there a reason to do it though before you bring down the tier 2 towers? Because there's still that element of risk that things could just go wrong.
There definitely is a risk, and I think that's why Evil Geniuses did not choose to go for that option, right? It's, if you do get caught, I mean, even if it's like a two-man smoke, say it's just the Witch Doctor and the Faceless Void who go in there, if those two heroes do get caught, you brought Roshan low, NiP take it, it's a huge turnaround and an unnecessary risk.
Oh, jump call down on bottom lane. PPD is going to die, but it reveals the position here of NiP. And if PPD wants to, he could potentially just buy back in and join the rest of his team as in comes Sumail. The Hex will be there. Remember, this is the only disable in line. The Death Walk goes to work from Maui, bringing him down. A perfect chrono from Universe. Universe is time pretty quick, but he got time lock on Seal Kid. So bring down the Dazzle, and it gives all the space in the world for Sumail to use that DD rune. One more jump down to Era. There's your attack. Aoi 2000 is going to KS it. But it's 2 for 4. You do lose the Faceless Void, but that's going to happen when he jumps in with the Mask of Madness turned on.
It could have been 2 for 3. It could have been 3 for 4. Unfortunately, Jonas missed out on the Culling Blade on the Queen of Pain, missed his timing slightly, and Queen of Pain lives. Axe even brought him low enough after the Culling Blade, and I'm sure he's regretting it severely, solely because that would have been such a huge kill. Killing Universe and killing the Queen of Pain, that practically would have made it worth it. Obviously, it was still a huge loss for Ninjas and Pajamas. And Era, the sad part is Era's still not finding any real item progression. He's only just now getting that Maelstrom. And that was starting. Oh my god!
Whoa! Shallow Grave's gonna be there. He got called up, but Fear's in the neighborhood. He's got Screamer Varble. He kind of wants to kill up the Axe, but Storm Spirit's got that one in hand. And Lion, attempted denial, not gonna happen. The Finger of Death, Storm Spirit, low armor. There's your assassination coming in from Era, but PPD drops the rock right on top of his head. Maybe he can get away to safety. No, he cannot. Era's got the range and the vision, but here comes Sumail again. Is that Bloodstone going to work? Zeus, well, where's your jump? There's a silence. They have enough damage to kill him in time. There's a Vortex. There's your cancel. 4 players down for NiP. Things are not right for the Swedes.
A Storm Sphere with that many Bloodstone charges translate directly into damage when you are just ball lightning that far across the map. It's insanity.
Oh no.
I mean, he used every bit of mana, and he was just so unafraid because NiP do not have damage. They finally managed to kill him, but...
They have the combo. They have the Ags. The Witch Doctor Aghanim Scepter is up. If you get 3 people caught inside that Chronosphere, this game is practically over. Because it won't cost anything from EG to get the kills. That is well, it's a level 2 ultimate as well from the Witch Doctor with the Aghanim's upgrade. This is only 23, 24 minutes into the game, and you have this much money on EG. NiP are basically playing the checks and balances of EG. And right now, like maybe Sir Scoots has rejoined EG because they're throwing away cash.
Boy, 24-10. It's an insane how well Evil Geniuses were able to keep control. I mean, they established it with the laning phase, right? They did so well there, but they haven't really dropped a beat. Sumail has just continued to build on the advantage by finding more kills, by being that big playmaker. Fear has even joined in, being a much more active player. As you said, he doesn't need to be the AFK farm lord that we've seen for most of this tournament. He can actually be a part of these fights nice and early.
This Observer Ward's looking at all of NiP, and this is exactly what EG want. Watch Universe so closely. Where is his Chrono? It's a 2-far. Axe thinking about jumping in, but limp is step. There's that Wish Doctor ulti. Not as much work as it could have been, but it's still going to do the job. NiP lose 3. Sumail, he's got a little bit of a jump up his sleeve. Only 2-1 charges. PPD Fissure, 3 seconds on cooldown. Nice double stun, but there's Fear. Obliterating Era. This'll be it with Lion going down. They don't have the creep wave with them, so it cannot be a Rax, but you've just 5v0'd NiP and lost practically nothing.
Yeah, if there isn't a bigger statement than that, right? Team wiping Ninjas and Pajamas inside of their own base, I don't know what is. And the funny thing is, PPD still doesn't have his Blink Dagger. He hasn't been able to snag very many of these last hits on the kills. But hopefully with some of these towers falling, he'll get that Blink Dagger. Everyone else on the side of EG, though, has picked up more than enough progression in their items to... I mean, this is their items for the, I would say, 40-minute marker, right? Like the Aghanims upgrade on AUI so early on into this game, many Witch Doctors wouldn't see that until the 35-minute mark. But AUI, thanks to all the room and the successful rotations, has found that out just so damn early. I would love to hear Nahaz. I'm sure he's going to talk about it later. This has got to be one of those records, right? Top 5, probably.
YOLO time.
Oh, yeah, this is absolutely...
They're so far behind. This is the last roll of the dice. If this does not work for NiP, expect the white flag. They need to find 1, potentially 2 heroes with this maneuver. Or else there's just no chance from the Dire Observer was watching. Sumail, they're going to go on. They got the call, but is it going to be enough? Sumail turns around, keeps the attack coming, but the damage output is nowhere near enough.
Great interception there from PPD. And the problem is they just still do not have the Blink Dagger on Hanskin. He is invisible, and maybe they'll get the reinitiation.
There's the jump in. PPD low on life, but he got awkward. He couldn't finish the jump with the Finger of Death. Now the Death Ward cancelled up by the Yule Scepter, but the Chrono, it hit 3. Lions caught in the end. The Sonic Wave! NiP, they're losing it all right now. The Axe wants one last Culling Blade. He finds PPD. He wants to go for his, but the time lock, he actually stuck. He bolts up the Culling Blade, but GG, well played. NiP will be eliminated after what was still a great run. They were able to defeat EG during the group stage, but now EG have taken the long road to the grand final, and Team Empire Twitterkai got their wish. Empire wanted revenge against EG. They've got the chance for it in the grand final, the full best of 3.
Unbelievable performance by Evil Geniuses so far. I mean, so much of that I think displays that Evil Geniuses and PPD were prepared for day number 3, right? I think that game in particular, because they lost earlier, right, to the Dazzle Axe combination. PPD saw that draft and he was just like, I know what to do now. Like, I really know what to do. The defensive tri-lane was great. They established so much dominance with the off-lane as well with the Faceless Void. I mean, you're going up against a Sniper and then going up against that Lion. Like, all you need is a relatively tanky hero that can't be zoned out by the Lion and jump away.
Yeah. And it worked. It worked very, very well. But to actually break apart how it did work, we go back down to our panel, hosted by Zoe.
Thank you so much, guys. We once more have a special guest joining us for this post-game discussion. And as you can see...
They got drilled, right? They got Drone Ranger visaged.
Yes.
It's hard to deal with that. I mean, the Phantom Assassin, in retrospect, going up against the Puck probably wasn't a great idea because the Aghanim Scepter, but they didn't have many options, right? Yep. Like maybe they go for the Slark, but that's also not a great team fighter. You go too early in team fight, you don't have the late game necessary to beat out a Dro. You know, there's so many big issues to come down to that draft. I don't think they'll allow that to happen a second time, and boy, did NiP strike back immediately to that Earthshaker pick.
Yeah, so PPD values the Earthshaker a little bit higher. But when you give it like a Dazzle and an Axe combo, Ninjas in Pajamas just work their way into the groove. It's not the biggest groove they're searching for, which would have been something like a Wistani plus the Dazzle Axe plus 1 on top of that, which would normally be someone like a Lina, who I will also say was bypassed here by NiP because they wanted the combination instead of just having the Lina. But this is a position right now where NiP should be feeling very, very comfortable. Their laning phase is going to be very strong, and EG have to have an answer to this. If they don't, this could steamroll again in favor of NiP.
Ninjas in Pajamas are probably looking to do the same thing that they did against EG in the round robin stage. Run the 2 heroes down in the off lane, put pressure on EG, especially since the Earthshaker, like last time they ran, what was it, the Earthshaker and I think Skywrath Mage might have been their duo, or it might have been Vengeful Spirit and Skywrath Mage. Either way, there wasn't a whole lot of capability for them to contest the Dazzle Axe. Now, I think Earthshaker was very poor at that because basically he wants to set up a block in order for you to allow you to get the pick off, right? Yep. But that can't happen. You can't go into that axe and just assume the Fisher block is going to be enough to kill him, right? It's a minimal amount of damage, and then he sits there, but he's spinning on you. You've got a Dazzle behind him, healing him up. It's not an ideal support versus this. So I think that the immediate response of the Dazzle Axe is solely because they knew it's going to be strong versus the Earthshaker. Yep. And I don't think the Evil Geniuses, whatever support they go for, is going to be good enough, essentially. So as long as they make sure they deal, and I love the Skywrath Mage ban out, I think that EG are then in turn going to rotate their supports pretty heavily, and I think that Earthshaker Skyreth Mage is a very dangerous duo against any mid lane.
I still want to ask the question, where is the Enigma pickup? Instead of contesting up against these lanes, which you feel like could be pretty passive anyway, get a hero which can half run their... I know we've been seeing things like SK which run as your initiator as well as your farming role, but to have something like that, very, very quick farming, and then come into the lane to add a bigger presence than you'll get from like SK early on. Is that the way you can force them out? You got a Quap, you got an Earthshaker, your team fight's already looking pretty good. The banouts being the Vengeful Spirit as well as the Disruptor, which is just going to mean NiP are now going to ban potentially Storm. I know the Queen of Pain's already been picked up, but it's they actually go for the Sniper pickup and they ban the Clockwork instead.
I mean, Evil Geniuses lineup would look a bit funky if they had both the Queen of Pain and the Storm Spirit on their side.
Yeah, I know.
I agree. Like, I was expecting kind of a Storm ban out too, just because it was like, oh, the Disruptor's banned. How do we not ban away the Storm? But I think it's the right decision here. The Disruptor is really good versus the Queen of Pain as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean they're looking for a Storm pickup. It's a good controlling hero against any intelligence mid. Queen of Pain falls in the same line as the Storm Spirit. Yep. So I think it's just a strong ban there. Sniper, though, third pickup for Ninjas in Pajamas. Lane Dominator does well versus the Queen of Pain. I would say it's like a 60-40. I'm not the most specialized mid matchup hero in the world, but Sniper does have an advantage here. Queen of Pain can win it, right? But more than likely, it's not going to be about the 1v1. The lane is going to be determined by the support rotations, which are to the favor of EG with the Earthshaker.
Yeah, I was about to say, because NiP, when you run the dual lanes, this is the downside about it. And this is also something, too, I know Era was talking about last night after the games, where he was basically saying like they knew where EG's weakness was going to be, primarily because you'd look and say, well, okay, if we have dual lanes, then you have to rotate 3 heroes in to deal with our dual lane if you want to be able to get on top of that dual lane, which means the mid lane gets completely opened up. You can't be running like a Witch Doctor and a Queen of Pain in the same lane to try and force out the Sniper, when you have to have Witch Doctor down the bottom lane to push back the Axe and the Dazzle, or at least give space so Fear can farm up. So when you're doing that, then Ninjas in Pajamas have more space to just pull back in their lane when the rotation does come, be a little bit more defensive, to push back out when you realize, okay, well, they have rotated up or they've moved to a different lane, you come back and you start your farm again.
So, so I was just about to say that Evil Geniuses should be looking at... I felt like they were going to go for a hard carry. Faceless Void is kind of the hero that you're expecting and needed some sort of jumping hero to go into the Sniper for sure. The Faceless Void is a decent hard carry. And on top of that, just the Witch Doctor kind of puzzled me, right? Because I felt like it wasn't terribly effective versus NiP's decisions.
So you're looking for the combo hero to go with it.
Right. It's not necessarily all about that. But it's also about the fact that like there's a heavy amount of armor on Dazzle Axe. It also means your laning phase isn't going to be that superb. They're very defensive supports, naturally. Earthshaker and Witch Doctor are very hard heroes to push high ground against. So I felt like Evil Geniuses were then planning on going for a harder carry. But you're right. It also plays really well with the Faceless Void. The Chronosphere into the Witch Doctor ultimate is going to be devastating. The laning phase still is a bit dangerous, though, because these heroes can't necessarily rotate. I thought Evil Geniuses would get another strong rotating hero for their fine position, but Witch Doctor is not great. Unless you happen to get the cast bounce to hit the hero, bounce back, and hit the hero again, it's not that great rotation. Very great mid game.
We should still flag the fact that this may not be a Fear Void, because you do have one of the greatest. You have one of the greatest Faceless Voids players in EG, and it's the Hands of Universe. So running an off-lane Faceless Void, normally NiP do run Eras at Sniper on the safe lane. So Void against the Sniper is not really fantastic, but he can survive, he can escape, body block it up, try and stay in close, man fight the Lion of the Dazzle, or at least the like. It's only going to be the line up against the Void. Stout, Shield, and a couple of consumables, you'll be fine with backtrack. So it's more of just get that level 6 and then become an impact hero. But if you're going to do that, then your timing with the Witch Doctor and the Faceless Void, so even then that should be fine. All you need to do is get your ultimate and then make sure the hero that Fear would play will be able to dish out enough damage. And yeah, that's the reason why they're banning out the Drone Ranger right now. It would have been the buff up to the Queen of Pain, and someone can inflict a large amount of damage into the Chronosphere. So they assume it